Welcome back. Welcome back to the Turn It Off Right Now podcast. Welcome back. We're here for another reviewing of a show. This time we're switching up the genre a little bit. Marvel coming out with a new project. All their TV is very divisive, very hit or miss for some people, but this one is kind of new. They kind of like low key released this Wonder Man. Done a lot of promotion, but it's like when been sneaky one of the like projects that has been a refresher for Marvel, get back into like some of their good products. I don't know how these guys feel, but I personally enjoyed it. So, what do you guys think of Wonder Man? And tell us how you've been too. So, you haven't been here like a month, so tell me about it.
Why don't you go first?
Sure, yeah. Um, I've been good. Yeah, same old, same old. But I
Sad.
thought the show was good, man. Yeah, like you said, it's definitely different than any of the shows that Disney Plus Marvel has released. In the sense that it's very grounded and it doesn't have very much action at all. For a superhero show, which um yeah, I mean, it was a breath of fresh air, I think, just really being able to focus on like Simon Williams, who's this guy who's an actor, and that's like really like the whole premise of the show is just like him going through struggles as a human being and wanting to get this acting role and kind of being like looked down on by his family at times because he's like not the most successful and he's just like really aspiring to get this role as Wonder Man. And so I was found while I was watching it, like just getting super invested into the character and his relationship with Trevor Slattery. Um, Acted by Sir Ben Kingsley from Iron Man 3 and also Shang-Chi. And yeah, I think um, they both did a great job and their relationship was awesome. And just going with Simon through his story and seeing him get that role was super fun to watch.
Yeah, Paul, what you think about it? I know this is kind of new for you, Marvel. You don't really pay attention to it, but what you think about Wonder Man?
Yeah, I mean, I used to be a big Marvel guy until Endgame, and then after that, I couldn't keep up with Disney Pluses and all that, so I kind of just gave up.
Hmm.
This is my first time back at Marvel for a long time.
So last thing you watched, Marvel, do you know? Oh, you watched the movies last year, right?
I guess yeah, like like I'm not as invested. I guess like I watched
Yeah,
Daredevil the
I feel
movie.
like
Yeah.
that's what everyone
What'd you
is. Like
watch?
after Endgame, everybody was just like, "All right, we don't need all these shows." Well, the first couple shows were, I mean, they were like new, like in COVID and shit. So like you were kind of
Yeah,
like
no one
wanted
had
to watch it.
everyone had nothing better to do. So
But then after they kept just dropping a bunch of stuff, you're just like, "All right, it
Mhm.
gets to a point."
And
Yeah.
like, yeah, I mean, we'll get into it more later, but like, I liked how self-contained the story was. Like, I feel like with like Marvel TV up until now or Disney Plus TV, it's like everything is connecting to something else, to like a movie or like another show, and you have to like memorize all this stuff. But like, I feel like Wonder Man was very self-contained. There's nothing, no prior watchings you needed, and like, it's not really going to relate to like Avengers Doomsday or Spider-Man or any of these other, it's not like a required watch. So like I feel like you're able to just like enjoy it without seeing it as like a homework assignment. It's like, oh, I gotta watch this so I understand the next movie. Like, yeah.
Right, right, right. So yeah, going into kind of what Park said, he's an actor, Simon Williams. I don't know, I haven't read any of the Wonder Man comics. I don't know if either of you guys have. Is it kind of similar where he's an actor, or is it just this is kind of like a whole brand new type of like take on the character where they're going in a way different direction?
Yeah, I haven't read Wonder Man comics, but I've seen discourse about it online. He's an actor, or like, he's like an A-list celebrity type thing. That's kind of like his like non-superhero life. The only thing that this TV show kind of strays from differently from the comics is like his origin story. But
Okay, okay, okay. All right, well, yeah, well, like Park said, Wonder Man, Simon Williams, it starts off with him going for this character on American Horror Story, and it kind of shows like his passion for acting and how he, wants everything perfect the way the dialogue goes and the character, and he's critiquing everything about the director's vision, and he bumping heads with a lot of people. Everyone thinks he's a dick, which I mean, I thought that was kind of good. Like it shows like his passion for what he wants to be great at, but also like that's the reason why he doesn't get a lot of roles. Well, it's what it's showing. Like, it's what it's implying basically. Is he's not getting a lot of roles because he's talented, but he's kind of standoffish, and he has to like he kind of wants to be on his own, do everything on his own type. It's kind of like one of those stories where he has to learn to, you know, work, be himself more, like find himself more, and kind of go that route. And so it goes there, and then he breaks up with his girlfriend and he hears about Wonder Man from his manager who he's been dreaming about this role his whole life. It shows about it later on, like how his dad, thought he would be a great Wonder Man, and that kind of leads into him meeting. Well, he meets. Okay, Parks or Paul, refresh me on when he meets Trevor Slattery exactly.
He was watching the what was it, the cowboy, space cowboy
Yeah, it was a
movie?
Midnight
Oh
Cowboy
yeah, yeah,
Midnight
movie.
yeah, yeah.
Cowboy, Midnight.
Yep. Y'all can keep going. Y'all can take it from here. You can keep on
Well,
going with that.
Oh yeah. They meet the Midnight Cowboy movie, and then uh Simon like recognizes him from an older movie he
Mhm.
played a long time ago, and from there we see like them enjoying the movie together, and then they have a nice little talk after the movie. And before the movie started, Simon overheard Trevor talking about this big casting opportunity he had that Trevor has, and so Simon asked Trevor about it, and Trevor's like, "Yeah, it's for Wonder Man." And then like we cut to Simon storming into his management office, like, "I gotta get this role. Like y'all gotta set me up with this audition." And then it doesn't really work out. His
Right.
manager's like, "Hey, we can't do this." But Simon, being Simon, selfish, stubborn,
Yeah.
driven person he is, he finds a way to get into the audition. He gets there, stressing about everything and everything in between. And Trevor is in the audition room killing it. Uh, and then Simon does his audition, I think. Did he even go that day? I don't even remember his audition now I think
Yeah,
about it.
it was. I think
for
he did on. I think he did it online or something.
Yeah,
for
but then why
Wonder
did he
Man?
show up there?
For Wonder Man?
Uh, no, he did do it there because didn't they?
What are you talking about? For Wonder Man?
Yeah, so the time like the first audition when he met Trevor and Trevor was helping him with the script in the bathroom and everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think Simon, I think his manager like called him and was like, or no, 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 no.
No, he did it
He like
himself.
finessed his
Yeah,
way in.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
finessed his
yeah,
way
yeah.
up there.
And they were like, "Oh, like it's going on right now." So then he like drove over super fast and yeah.
Yep. So it kind of just goes through all the adventures of. After that, it goes through the adventures of Trevor and Simon to get all the stuff they get into. We can get into like the details of the plot later on, but I kind of just wanted to ask you guys, what was your expectations of this show? I know, like I said, Marvel, they kind of just rolled it out there. It was kind of like this was a delayed project for many years. It was
Yeah.
announced in like 2022, I think they announced this. And I remember that because I remember, like, I specifically remember watching like the showcase where he had all these shows coming, and then they canceled a bunch of shows, but they let this one go, and they kind of just like they kind of treated it like Ironheart. I don't know if you guys watched that, but they kind of just rolled that out the same way, kind of just put all the
Hmm.
episodes out at once type, and they kind of did the same thing, no promotion, just dropped this out. What was your guys' expectation going into this? I know, Paul hasn't watched it Marvel in a while, but Parks, me and you are pretty caught up on the MCU. So like, what was your expectations on this?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Going in, I didn't really know what to expect because like I mean Wonder Man is not like a super popular like character in the comics or anything. All I knew about him was like people were like saying how he's like this like super powerful, like he's on the level of like a Captain Marvel type of like super powered person. So I was like, oh, like I was going in thinking like there was gonna be like some otherworldly or like extra, like maybe in outer space or I had no idea. I didn't think I was really surprised to see like how grounded of a story it was and like
Yeah,
how little like superpowers there even were in it. But Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, go ahead, Paul. No, I'll go.
Yeah, I don't know if I had many expectations. Like and like you said, I haven't been very caught up. Um, Parks just said it was a new show. I wanted to see what was going on, I guess, in the most recent media and just like what people were talking about. Um, and I enjoyed it for the most part. I'll complain about it later, but for the most part, I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of the same thing as you, Parker. I didn't really know what to expect. I wasn't gonna watch it actually until you brought it up to me and said it was pretty good. And I also saw some pretty good reviews, like this is a free good refresher of MCU. I kind of just like expected it to be meh, like all the other shows kind of were. I was just like, eh. It's there if you want to watch it. Like it's a good, but I'm glad I watched it because it's a good like a grounded, nice and grounded story, like you said. And yeah, I just felt like I needed. I was kind of wondering how they were gonna tie it in, but like it doesn't look like they're gonna do that, which I'm fine with. They didn't make it like a huge, big thing, like anything that could tie into any other movies or any other projects. So that's pretty cool that they were able to do that. So I'm kind of glad that they went that route. So yeah, let's talk about the pacing. I want to talk about the pacing of the show. It was very slow. It's kind of like the last show we watched. It's not as slow as Pluribus, but it's definitely got some elements of that in there where there's like a lot of case studies of a character and like their feelings and emotions, a bunch of characters. Basically, the two main characters, Simon and Trevor, they it's a case study on both of them, more of Simon and Trevor is a good supporting character. But what did you guys think of the pacing and how they went about with the way the series went?
Honestly, now that you mentioned Pluribus, I feel like the pacing. I could imagine season two of Pluribus being season one of Wonder Man.
Mm,
Like I could see like Manusos and Carol building like a chemistry similar to Trevor
Hmm.
and
That's interesting.
wait, Trevor and Simon. But anyways,
Simon.
mm,
I thought the pacing was pretty well done. Honestly, the episode four Doorman like just threw
yeah.
me like I wasn't really paying attention, and like I turned to my screen like after like 2 minutes, I'm like, wait, am I on the right show? Like I had to check.
No, bro, we'll get to that. But that's the exact same thing. I was thinking, I was like, am I watching the same show still? But
I was mad confused, but then it started to make sense after a while. Um, but yeah, I thought the pacing was pretty well done. I like what I found interesting was that like they made the him acting as Wonder Man to be the majority of the plot. Basically, I think till episode eight, right? Like the whole thing is
yeah,
building up to him playing that role, and then
Yeah.
we see the movie for like we see him acting in like
one scene,
for
literally
like
Yeah.
one
one
scene.
scene, really.
It's
We
the
see
one
like
scene
very little
it's the one scene that they were like
rehearsing in the
doing at the
car
yeah they were
in
it's
the
like the same
mansion.
scene. That's
Yep.
like the only scene we see in the movie. Like they practice it in the one episode, they try
Mm.
it again in front of the director, and then they do it in the show. That's like the only scene we see in the movie, but it's really just like yeah, it was, like you said, building up to him.
It was all
You know.
building up to that, and then we see like a very small amount of the actual thing he's working towards, and then it
Hmm.
jumps to a complete different like arc, and then now we and get to the finale and everything. So I
Yeah,
really
Mhm.
did kind
we'll
of
talk about the finale. We'll talk about the
I
finale.
enjoyed how like you were in it to feel all his emotions towards like this big thing that he wanted for like a very long time,
Hmm.
Mhm.
and then just like snap, and then we're out of it. And I think that was really well done. But yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Parks. You got anything on the pacing or anything like that?
Yeah, no, I think I agree. Paul touched
Okay.
on everything.
Yeah, good, good. All right, let's talk about main character Simon. I actually really liked him for the most part, except for episode 7, when he did the Pretty Women thing. That was like terrible. I was like, it was a little cringy, but it was him. Like it was realistic. Like he wasn't like trusting himself. Like he was two in
Oh,
his head.
oh,
But yeah, when he was doing I thought that was like I thought was the point of like it was
yeah, yeah, yeah,
cringy, but
definitely.
like
Yeah.
it was just good. But like that was like I was like, oh, like it was cringy. I hate that. I hate cringy shit, bro. Like that shit makes me ugh. But other than that, I really liked his character. I like how they didn't really focus on his powers and just like him. I like how they focus on him as a character. I did kind of want to see like I did. They kind of said at the end like what his powers were, but I kind of wanted to know a little bit more because it is interesting if they ever like decided to bring him back in like some role. Like his powers are pretty cool. I did like those. But I thought his character, I thought the actor, he did a great job. I've seen him in some other stuff. I can't remember what show like movie I saw him in. But he's a good actor. I like him. He's pretty like pretty his presence is there. You can feel it. Pause and yeah, so what you guys think of what you guys think of Simon, the main character?
Dude, I think he killed it. So the only thing I know him from, I mean, other than Black Mirror, as we talked about,
Mhm.
um,
Black, that's what it was. That's what I was thinking.
but he
I
also
Black Mirror.
plays what's his name in Aquaman, Black Manta.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but no, dude,
that is a forgotten movie though. Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
easily forget about
That
that.
was like, yeah. But I think he killed it. I really think like I just thought it was really cool how like relatable of a character Simon was. Like they kind of go like he's just like this introverted guy who like has this like super like hyper passion for like his one thing, which I think is like really relatable to a lot of people and like I don't know. Yeah, I just thought it was really cool just watching a show of actors like trying to act while acting. Like
Yeah.
it's just kind of like a mind fuck, but I thought he like did it really well and it was like really convincing and I don't know, as someone who like personally like doesn't like know a lot about I mean like I don't know, I consider myself I mean what do they call it, like a cinephile. Like I like watching like films and shows and stuff, but when it comes to like the behind the scenes and stuff, I'm not like super knowledgeable, so it was kind of cool just like seeing that perspective and seeing like Simon like giving his input and like practicing and like when he was like in his apartment and setting up like that little like camera thing and he was
Mhm.
like recording himself. I don't know. I just thought it was like super cool and but yeah, I think Yaya did a fantastic job and um yeah, I might try to check out more stuff he's in because I was really impressed with his performance.
Paul, what you think of Simon?
Yeah, like Parks. I think he killed it. Basically echo everything you just said. But I also just love that like he was just like, and it was kind of stereotypical, I guess, but like kind of like the struggling artist, the loner artist. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
he was rocking that archetype, and he. I mean, I think all of us are an artist to an extent, and I think we could all relate to just like him wanting to just perfect this craft that he's been working towards and he's had dreams of for years upon years upon years. And like just the intensity of all the moments, it was great. And like but especially I love the conversations they had, the dialogues they had were so deep. He was so knowledgeable about every script, every movie. It was just like you could tell this guy was dedicated
Yeah,
to the craft,
one
and I
thing I
love
enjoyed
that.
was like the amount of like real life references there were, and like I'm sure I
Oh
didn't even
yeah.
appreciate like a fortune like a fraction of them because there were so many obscure or like older like movies that I don't really know, but like they name dropped like Severance and like all these
Sons of Anarchy. I heard that
yeah
one name dropped. I
Megan
heard
Megan 3 was in there too, I think.
Megan 3. Yeah, it was kind of like a like a love letter to like film and
hmm
acting kind of.
yeah
That's what I kind of got out of it, or for when I've seen other people say about it, which I kind of agree with. I think that that was pretty cool. Yeah, and then so you got Simon who's going through all this stuff trying to become a lead actor in this role. You got his family, his mom supporting him, and his brother being a little, being a little bit. he's kind of supporting him, but then he's like, it's tough love. You know how brothers are. Well, I know
He
how it is
sucks.
because I'm
He
an older
sucks a
brother,
lot,
but
bro.
like as an older brother, like you gotta like be hard on him. So like he's kind of hard on him, and then so he got his family supporting him in any way he can. And then you got Trevor, who he meets, and let's talk about Trevor now. He kind of shows up as like a he's a secondary character, but he's also a fake villain. Like he's there to like try to take him down. Not really take him down, but we see him and then we flash back to like the day before where the DOD director of what is it? Damage control.
Department of Damage
Damage
Control.
control. Yeah, they come to him and they arrest him and they're like, "Hey, we got this guy who's we think is super powered. We need to get you to infiltrate him and spy on him and get all this information out of him." And then so Trevor goes on this mission at first, and then he meets the guy and see how passionate he is about acting, and it kind of relights his flame in acting too, because he says he talks about this like he loses a lot of roles and doesn't really he's not really passionate about it anymore and does a lot of drugs and stuff. And then he meets Simon, and now he's interested in this role of being a Wonder Man again. And that's kind of cool to see their dynamic come together. And when you talk about the Mandarin, like when you first see him in Iron Man 3, you thought he's just a throwaway character. He's the fake Mandarin. Like you're never gonna see him again. And then he shows up in Shang-Chi as like a cool Easter egg, which is pretty cool. I totally forgot about that part because I knew I saw him in like another project. I just couldn't remember what. It was Shang-Chi, yes, exactly. And he even references that where he's like, "Yeah, I was in a pocket dimension" or whatever. He says something like that, and it's cool to bring him back, his character full circle, where he's now like a good guy. So, what do you guys think of Trevor Slattery, aka the Mandarin, in this interpretation?
Yeah, I'll go first. I thought it was a pleasant surprise. I mean, so a couple fun facts about him or about Trevor Slattery first is he's an MCU original character, so he doesn't exist in the comics. He's not in any comics whatsoever. He is a made-up character that Marvel made for the movies, and now, I mean, we've seen that a couple times. Like there's like the I don't know if you remember in the Ant-Man movies, the Hispanic guy who would talk really fast.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they do that sometimes, but I think Trevor Slattery is probably the MCU's best original character.
yeah.
And then another thing that I saw about the actor that kind of blew my mind the other day is he's like 84 years old, Sir
Oh,
Ben Kingsley, which I was like, there's no way this guy is
it
like
looks pretty good.
he looks great and he was acting with such like I don't know, he was such a happy spirit throughout the show, so vibrant and always his love for acting felt like contagious
Mm.
um throughout the show. And um yeah, I think his arc was really well done. I will say the whole like um DODC stuff. I mean, that was like the definitely the most MCU-y part of the show, and
Yeah,
didn't really like love it at times. Like whenever that stupid guy who's from the Spider-Man movie was on the screen, the DODC guy, I was just like, okay, like I just kind of want to see Simon and
yeah,
Trevor
don't.
again. Like I don't
And
really.
the ending kind of like was whatever. We'll talk about that, but I
Yeah,
ain't
I
really
mean,
know.
yeah, yeah, I mean that arc, I do understand it's kind of necessary to an extent because that's like how it's like how else are you gonna get Trevor and Simon, and it kind of created that whole like um back and forth with them that caused to them like fighting or whatever.
Right.
But um yeah, I enjoyed um Trevor, and I mean, like we already talked about, like their relationship was so great, and like going into it, I kind of didn't expect to be as, hooked into like them two together, but I mean now they're, probably one of the best or most fun duos that we've seen in the MCU. So I think that's kind of pretty impressive that Marvel was able to like establish that only through like an 8 episode show. So
Yeah, Paul, what did you think of Trevor Slattery?
No, yeah. I mean, knowing that he's 84 years old now, I literally just watched like an interview with the two of them, just like talking about the character. But I didn't recognize that he doesn't give that off at all.
mhm.
And that makes me enjoy him a little bit more. Um, honestly, I'm not really sure what his character arc was. because he felt like he was just
Uh,
trying to be something that he wasn't to get out of jail, and
yeah,
he
and
just
then
ended up stopped caring about that. Like that's that. If that's a character arc, then I guess it is. But I don't feel like he really
Like,
changed
I mean,
I
much.
get. Well, go ahead, go ahead.
no, you got it. I need it.
Well, I think his arc was just like he wasn't. He didn't like act. He like wasn't passionate about acting, and then he became more like passionate because of Simon. So I don't know that. I guess he wanted to he didn't want Simon's dream to fail either. So like his dreams living through Simon. Maybe that's what kind of like what I'm getting out of it. Like he wants his dream and Simon's dream are aligned. So like his dream is Simon. So like they're living together. They're living through each other. He wants Simon to get his dream goal, and that's good enough for him. It's kind of what I like. That's what I get out of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just like the whole like, I mean, yeah, I mean, you see like with like the whole like Iron Man 3 thing being the Mandarin and he puts on this whole facade for like attention and like all these other things just to but he goes from that and then like working with the DODC to, put this guy away or whatever, just so he can, again, it's for like his own personal gain. Like, I feel like for this Trevor guy, I mean, that's all we've ever seen. But to at the end where he obviously like makes in episode 7 or whatever, where he like makes the sacrifice, he goes back as the Mandarin. It's kind of like a full circle moment where he just like reprises that role one more time just to kind of like save Simon and like Trey said, just kind of like fulfill that, role as Wonder Man, I guess like through him because he
I
wanted to.
guess okay, yeah, that's a good point. Bringing it back to the man, like if we're bringing it outside of just the show, like how he initially used Mandarin, not with like super cruel intent, but like he
No, it was
didn't.
cruel intent.
Well, like he talks about how he was like drugged up, doesn't remember half of it. So
Yeah,
like I don't know, I'll give benefit of the doubt. But like he used it in a way that wasn't beneficial to anybody. And the last time, hopefully, I mean not hopefully, but like I'm guessing this is the last time we'll see him as Mandarin,
yeah.
and it was to help save somebody. So I guess like seeing him mature through that, if you look at it from Iron Man 3 to now, then yes, I could see that. So I'll give y'all that. I'll give y'all
All right, so now that we talked about those two guys, all right, we'll talk about the rest of the plot then. Kind of want to. This is like the first 3 episodes where they kind of go through their opening intro. They start communicating with each other, and then we get to number. I want to talk about episode 4, the doorman clause, which I was like, they didn't have any like intro in the last episode to this episode. It was just like boom, black and white.
Well,
Damar Doorman. Well, they showed explain it at the end, which it makes sense. But in like at the beginning of the episode, I was like, or they may have
no,
mentioned
at
it
the
in
end of the
yeah,
previous episode when they were in the car, Simon and Trevor, I think he like vaguely alluded to like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
superpowered people can't act or and yeah, but
Yeah, that's what it was. Because I was like, where did this come from? And then I saw it in the recap, and they were like, yeah, da da da, the doorman. You can't because of the doorman clause. And then it goes in episode 4. Which what do you guys think of that episode where it kind of just shifts the whole like cinematography, black and white, and it goes through a whole flashback sequence? What do you guys think of that episode?
I thought a lot of aspects of that episode were cool. I thought, just like the one kind of self-contained episode is really like a cool idea for, I love when comic book or yeah, like comic book shows do it because it's very akin to like if y'all have ever read comics, like like those like one-off like stories, like in the middle of like like I'm reading some Daredevil comics right now, and I'll be like going through a run, and then like there'll just be like this random like one, it's like a one shot or a one-off they call it, where it's just like a like one story, completely unrelated to the rest of like the series or whatever you're going through, and so yeah, I found it similar to that, which was cool. Um. And I didn't think the acting by Doorman himself was that great. I
Nah,
thought he was like not very convincing. I don't know if that was like on purpose or whatever, but yeah, I wasn't really moved by that. But and then there were also like some cool references to like Outer Marvel stuff that I picked up on. Like the
Josh Gad playing himself.
yeah,
I
Josh
think that's
Gad playing
that's the
himself.
actor's name.
Yes, yeah, he's like a famous actor. And then
Yeah.
the when DeMar Davis got like that goop on him or whatever, it was like a Roxxon trash bin or something, which is
Mm.
like a company that shows up in like Spider-Man and like other Marvel shows. So I don't know. I thought it was a cool idea. It was again like something Marvel trying something new, and I appreciated the effort. I don't think it like fully stuck the landing, but I there were aspects of that episode that I liked a lot. So
Yeah, kind of on that point, I was wondering because I was watching that episode. Like there were times where like I was like, I just check out, and I was wondering like what it was. I was listening to like reviews, like I was listening to recasts and stuff, and like I think the black and white thing was pretty cool. Like I think it was shot very well. Like nothing was really like
mm,
impossible to see, even though it was black and white, and like, everything was defined pretty well. Like the shadows were done well. But that guy who acted as Demar Davis or Doorman is a comedian. Like he's an
Mm.
actual comedian.
yeah, mm,
Um, so like I don't I don't know if that was Marvel's purpose was to really make him a good actor.
sure.
Um,
I
and
think
maybe
it's
the
just like to
point,
show his superpowers or
yeah,
what made
Yeah,
him.
that's
I
fair.
think so. And also that helps us like differentiate like, oh, like Simon is or yeah, Simon like is a good actor because he's actually an actor and not like Doorman who's like just who was just a doorman who got
Yeah.
some power. So maybe that
Oh
was
yeah,
something they were
that's
aiming
yeah,
for.
yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying.
So
That's
so
fair.
like I don't know that's I don't know just about. But yeah, I enjoyed the episode. Cool stuff. Kind of deep, but I don't think we need to go there.
Yeah. Okay. So the rest of the season kind of just is them. Okay, so they get in a fight. He shows off his powers, and someone records him, and that's a whole episode where they gotta go run that guy down, and they think he's a drug dealer, but he sells candy. I thought that was kind of funny. They sell candy. And Trevor's always getting Simon in trouble. He's got the DOD on him, and he's got the his people he owes money for his drugs on him. So they try to run him down and shit. I thought that was pretty cool, funny. And Trevor also has to go to his mom's house. I
Mm.
thought that was you remember that where
The
they had both,
party.
it was his
Yeah.
mom's birthday
Yep.
and they both go there and he's snooping
Oh, you said go
around.
to Simon's house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Trevor
Oh,
goes
okay.
to
Yeah,
Simon's
yeah,
house.
yeah. Sorry. I thought you
I didn't
said
say it.
Trevor. They go to Trevor's mom's house. I'm
No,
like,
no,
wait,
no,
what?
no. They go to Simon's mom's house. And they're like, "What the fuck are you doing here? Like, who are you?" And they're like, "I'm here
The
with."
one white.
Yeah, the one. Is he white? I don't even know if he's white, but anyway, he's a non-black dude, non Jamaican. Is he? Aren't they Jamaican
Haitian,
or
They
Haitian.
Haitian?
Haitian, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought that was pretty funny too. So you got all this stuff leading up to they call the manager calls him and he's like, the callback is right now, like da 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 da. You need to get there. And he's like, and they're in the middle of a shootout with the police and the drug dealers. So I thought that was funny. This is all in like 5 and 6. This all happens, I'm pretty sure.
Mm.
And they go to the
Von
director's
Kovac.
house.
Von
Von
Kovac's
Kovac. Is
mansion.
that a real
Yeah.
director? Do y'all know that?
I think so. Possibly. I kind of forgot.
Okay. So they go to his house, and there's a bunch of actors there, and they're all playing for the role of Barnaby and
Wonderman.
Wonder Man. So talk to me about this scene. This was like this is not the climax, but it really is the climax. Like in retrospect,
Yeah.
like when you really think about it, this is like him.
Yeah.
This is what he's been building up for. The whole 6 episodes before that, and he gets to this part, and he's kind of melting down. But tell me about this, the scenes.
I'm not gonna lie. This was my favorite episode.
Yeah,
Mm. Yeah.
Von Kovac. I think he. I loved every single thing he said throughout the whole scene. Every word he said, I was like,
you like the part
yes.
where he's like, "You're my lover," and you like that part, didn't you? Because you relate to that two men
All
acting
right, all right.
together.
Anyways, I did love his creative vision. I did love his communication of his creative vision. I just think like he brought the best out of all the what do you call them, auditioneers?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, I think he did a great job. I think the other guys were fine. They were kind of cheesy.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
I
very
think
stereotypical.
like the surfer dude, I was like, bro, like I don't really need to hear you talk anymore. Like, um, what else happened in that shit? I loved it when Simon was about to break down and quit, and then Trevor gave him that pep talk. That was
yeah.
amazing.
Or when he
Um,
fell asleep.
We you see that part when he punched the guy's face. I was
I
like,
was so
And
confused.
then,
I was like, yo, there's no way he just did that. And then
dude,
on
I
the other
thought it
part,
actually happened. Yeah.
screaming.
yeah.
So that was great.
Yeah, no, yeah. That
But
scene
yeah,
with
I love
Simon
I
and
love that
Trevor.
whole episode, especially Von Kovac's part. Really was inspiring and made me think a little bit. So yeah, I love that.
Okay. Parks, what did you think about that? What did you think about that scene?
No, I
Whole
agree.
episode, really.
It was very intriguing and I really enjoyed like seeing them. Like I liked when Von Kovac was making them do like those like um what do you call it? Like impromptu like
Hmm.
act
Yeah, he's
the
like, throw the whole script out.
yeah, like just kind of
Yeah.
like giving them a random like prompt and they just like had to like go with it on the fly.
Paul, you're a director. What is that? What does that mean when you just throw out the script and you just want an actor to just do a role? And like, what are you trying to? What is the direct? Get me in the mind of the director. What are you trying to like get out of that?
Well, first I want to clarify. Thank you for the props, but I'm not like a director. I just do
Yeah, he's a director.
But um, what I think he was getting at there was like it's kind of like when I'm sure you see this in football too. Like when I'm coaching basketball, like if you just get guys out there to play, you can see who could play basketball, like who knows proper spacing, who knows when to cut, who knows how to find the open guys, who knows how to rotate on defense. Like you can see those things. So people just have that it factor, and I think that's kind of like similar to what Von Kovac was doing. Was like, all right, you can't prepare for this. There's no play. You just got to go out there and perform, and you got to go dominate. And it's like
Right.
I
Yeah,
think
but
that's kind of what it was.
didn't Simon and didn't they end up like just acting out the scene?
They
Wasn't it?
did at the end. I
So
was kind of
like
confused by that too,
I was.
but
That's why I was like, okay,
it's
so
a
you did
30-minute
all that.
episode. They had to wrap it up somehow. So.
But I did. I mean, I like the whole theme of it. Like, you gotta like get out of your comfort zone and do something you didn't prepare for. But and then it ended up. I guess it was just so good. It was so transformative that he was just like, "Fuck it."
If they didn't
Uh,
get the part, the show would have ended. So they kind of just like had to give it.
yeah, that was the only thing I was confused about because I was like, "Wait, didn't they just do the like what? Like, didn't they just do the scene they already prepared for?"
But
Like,
also, like we didn't get the prompt that Von Kovac gave him. So maybe he was like initially he was like, throw out the script. I want to see what y'all can do, and then see who actually prepared at the end, and that's what won
mm,
them. Maybe
Mm.
maybe he did that. I'm
Yeah.
assuming or speculating, but yeah.
yeah, okay, so yeah, that was also I think the I like the Doorman episode because just it was like so odd. It was good, but it has some good elements. But this is definitely one of my better favorite episodes that I like.
Yeah. Yeah, and
I yeah, good.
yeah, I mean like Paul touched on it, but I think yeah, one of my favorite scenes in the show, maybe my favorite was like when Trevor and Simon had that talk out on like the balcony or whatever, and Simon was just like I think it was like right after that whole like failed um thing in the dining room where he was
No,
chucking
no, it
shit.
was when
No,
Von
wait.
Kovac woke him up. He was like, "Yo,
Okay.
are you interested?"
Yes, yeah, yeah, and then he needed to go outside. Yeah, and he was just like, like Simon was just kind of like all down on himself because he was like, um, like just talking about like I'm only gonna be like I'm never gonna like make it this far or whatever because of like my superpowers or like whatever, and um, yeah, I don't know. Him and Trevor just had like a really nice interaction. I feel like that kind of just like perfectly summed up their relationship.
Mm.
Yeah, I think maybe I really did that in combination with the Von Kovac monologue where he's like, get rid of your preconceptions of gods and heroes, and
Mm,
like we need to get to the human part of it. And I think the conjunction of those two things, I might get a little deep here, but anyways, like
Go ahead.
I was sitting there thinking about like this is kind of the way I can imagine this is the way people with disabilities feel about their condition, where they feel like they can't fully show who they are in this workplace because if they know that I have this, I can't, I
mm,
won't be able to do the job that I want to do. At least maybe not in current day, but like in the past, like that was something that was the case. And like to me, that's like really powerful. Just like whatever has been labeled on you as a hindrance,
mm,
it's not really it's not who you are first of all, and it can actually be it's a part of your experience that allows you to build this character that you have created for yourself. And I think
yeah.
that was really just like touching to me and very like affirming of just like be who you are, stop trying to fit in this box, stop trying to live by preconceived labels, preconceived notions, and just be present, observe nature. Everything that Trevor Lawrence, sorry, what's his
Trevor
name? Trevor
Lawrence.
Slattery. Why did I say Trevor
Trevor
Lawrence?
Lawrence.
Is that a
You
football
thinking
player?
Yeah.
the
Oh
quarterback of the
shit.
Jacksonville Jaguars? You thinking
Trevor,
about
Uh,
Trevor Lawrence?
Slattery, Trevor Slattery said,
They
I
both
just
have
wrote the
long
whole
hair.
thing. It was just like, man, like I'm
yeah.
ready to go punch a wall. Just very empowering, I think. I love that part.
Yeah, and no, that's you bringing that up reminds me of something I thought of like when I saw that scene and just about the show in general is like the contrast of like Simon who like is afraid to express his true self because of his powers, and then you have Trevor who as the Mandarin, he like
Embraces it.
embraced himself as like
Like,
someone who he wasn't. So it's like the
yeah.
exact it's like opposites kind of. It's like Trevor like goes all out to be like something he isn't, whereas Simon like he like keeps everything to himself about who he
Mm,
actually is. Like it's kind of like
that's good.
opposites, and I feel like that's why they worked well together.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
I
That's
like
a
that part. That's
bar.
great.
Write that down. Bar. Mm. Okay. Good. All right. Good. 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 So that's the last. That's the second to last episode. And then the last episode, I kind of feel like it just. That was the
No, that
second to
episode
last.
six. We still got seven and eight.
I thought episode seven was him getting the
Seven
car.
was when they got interviewed.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's kind of more like him not wanting to be himself, hide his true self. He's calling everyone. He's hitting up his ex girlfriend. He's like, "Whoa, you didn't say nothing." And she's like, "No, I didn't tell him about your secret." And he's like, "Secret? How do you know about that?" She's like, "I know about you. I just wanted you to trust me." And that's kind of like his whole character arc is him not really trusting anyone, like him being himself, him suppressing himself, closing himself off to everyone, like you said, Parks, afraid to be himself. And it's kind of like what he's afraid, but he thinks his brother's gonna sabotage him. He's overthinking it, but his brother's like, nah, like I'm proud of him. It's tough love, obviously, and get to that episode seven, and then is that when they show the scene in the at the end of episode seven, right? Or
The
is that episode
scene.
eight? The scene of like the movie, like the
No,
premiere of
no,
the
that's
movie.
eight.
At
Okay.
the end of seven is when Simon
Oh,
blows up
is when
the.
he. Yes, 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 yes. That's kind of like the. That is the climax. Well, this is the second climax. I said the first climax was. This is the second climax. You know, you got to finish twice sometimes. It's okay. Is when Trevor admits to him that he's been working with the DODC, and he's like, "What? Like you betrayed me? Like you're not really my friend?" And it kind of breaks their friendship off for a little bit. And then Trevor or Simon goes into the studio and blows it up. He nukes it, and then he runs away. What you guys think of that episode? The last episode, episode seven. What you guys think of that?
I thought it was well done. I loved how like again like it didn't seem as predictable as like typical superhero movies. I think like again
Yeah.
the whole episode is building towards oh no she's gonna expose Simon that like he's a dickhead, that he's selfish, that he has superpowers, like basically everything that's bad about him you think is gonna come out, and it's like no, actually we're gonna get on Trevor's case and just destroy him until we have a whole bunch of like not us as the audience because we already know, but Simon has a whole bunch of questions, which then leads to Simon's reaction. I want to go back. Actually, I want to pause real quick. Go back to what Trey said. I think also about like him calling his ex girlfriend, him calling his mom, calling his brother shows that he doesn't trust anybody, and the only person that he did trust was Trevor, and like he was
Mm,
like trusting with his business decisions. I
yeah,
don't know if that
that's
was this episode or maybe the next
yeah,
one, but
it was that episode,
was it?
episode 7,
I think
where
Mhm.
so.
he was like
Oh
they're
yeah, yeah, it was because he got
at the dinner
arrested.
table and he's
Yeah.
like, I trust Simon with all my business decisions. He's
So
like,
like that was the only person he trusted, and then that person he trusted was the one who broke his trust in the end. The other people he could rely
mm,
on, but that was the guy he actually broke his trust. Which again is a nice little flip flop that they did there. But I lost my train of thought. Yeah, it was all pointing to Trevor to Simon getting in trouble. Trevor's the one who gets in trouble, which then makes Simon ruin his opportunity, the opportunity he's been waiting his whole life for, in
mm.
a blick of emotion, which I think was just like there's so many deeper things going on there besides just like the plot that I really loved. I think it was very like meaningful. It wasn't just like, oh, we got to get the plot moving on, so let's just have this news reporter come. Like, it was all very, very well done in my opinion. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I did think he was gonna have to use his powers in like some upscale battle. I don't know why. I thought like that's what
Dude,
MCU
because that's how every
does.
MCU show has ended. Like I was thinking about it, and like all of the Disney Plus MCU shows have ended with some extravagant like CGI, like heavy, just like over the top battle. So like I was fully expecting that as well, but didn't get that.
Yeah, yeah. We get to the last episode, and DODC is about to track down Simon, and it kind of like leads to that. They think they're it's another like you said twist, not a twist, but like a red herring where they think they're about to bust down Simon's doors and take him, and then they end up at Trevor's crib because he brings back the Mandarin, and that's kind of like the full circle. If he brings it back to help someone instead of hurting a bunch of people, he brings it back to help his only friend. He and the DOD guy knows that he didn't do that shit because he knows he's a facade, and that was kind of cool. And then we get to see it. And then the next scene is like Trevor, or not Trevor, Simon at the movie premiere with his family, and they're doing the scene with a different actor. I think that's a real this. It was a guy playing himself. I can't remember his name, but
Hmm.
They had a
I thought
lot of
that
people
was
play themselves in the show. I think Parker
yeah.
already said that, but like yeah, it was really
Yeah.
well done.
Yeah, what you guys think of? Well, we already talked about this a little bit, but like Simon, Trevor, he gives himself up to save Simon, which kind of full circle. What you guys think of, episode 8? I didn't really like the ending. It was kind of like dragged on. I kind of feel like they didn't know where to go after the premiere of the movie, which I mean, that's kind of what it's built up for. Like this is his dream job or dream role, and it shows him in episode 7 talking to his pops like I see you playing this role, like you have a real talent. And he's like, nah, dad, like that's just a play. And he's like, nah, like you can do this for real. I want you, like you can be Wonder Man, and then it goes full circle to him actually playing it, and then that's kind of like where I see that's where to me where it ends, and it's just like after that it's like a whole bunch of it's good like he's busting Trevor out, and it shows it at the end, but it kind of like felt like whatever at the end. What do you guys think of everything after that?
Yeah, no, I do agree. It did feel like a little cheap or I think I do think it's intentional what they're doing though, but like because like I think they could have wrapped the show up in like a bow and like ended it very nicely, like kind of like after the movie or something, like you said. Um, but I think it was intentional, kind of like doing what they did, like showcasing another one of Simon's powers, and then having them both out. Just it leaves it very open-ended. It leaves it, up to interpretation where they're going to go from there. So. It leaves open a lot of opportunities for either a season 2 or for them to appear in other projects. So it definitely makes sense from that front. But yeah, it definitely like the ending kind of like left me wanting more. But like I do kind of also understand why they did the way they did.
Paul, what did you think of the ending?
Yeah, I think I texted Joe after I finished. Like, yes, Trevor and Simon's chemistry was great, but like I didn't really want to watch Wonder Man to see a bromance type of thing. But listening to some recaps, I think there's a couple things that I think Marvel is maybe trying to hint at too, and well, not hint at, but like get across in their storytelling as well. The story starts off with Simon being this individualistic, self-centered, superpowered individual who has to hide his powers and can't control his powers regardless, right? And then like we end it with like him sacrificing everything that he worked his life towards to bust his only friend out of jail and having full control of these superpowers now because it's bigger than just himself. It's bigger than just all his career, the star opportunity he wanted. It's bigger than being able to perfect his craft. Like there's a bigger meaning to him using his powers now.
Yeah.
And I could see that Marvel maybe is like, here, guys, like friendship is important, the power of friendship. But like, uh, I just was like,
I
yeah.
I can also see it being like him, like it's kind of showing us like, okay, Simon's finally embracing his true self. Like he's been keeping this pent up, like this his powers kind of to himself for the entire show and for like his whole life. And so him kind of doing that and basically outing himself to the world as a superpowered human. He's effective. I mean, he is giving up acting. Like he's never going to be able to act again, but um he I guess in his sense like probably has already peaked. I mean, he got the one role only ever wanted his entire life. So like he
Well, they still don't really know it's Simon though, who like the DODC does, but like the rest of the world
The
doesn't
public, yeah, they don't
I
public.
know.
mean, I guess I don't know like yeah, I guess it's not like 100% certain that like everybody's gonna know that he is or like know about that, but I mean, I don't know if
But
someone
also like
breaks
the DODC, right? They're struggling with funds, right? They have to put more people in jail to keep it going, to keep it up, right?
Hmm.
So if they release to the public that this person broke
Maybe, well,
Trevor
if he comes
Slattery out
out,
of jail, they wouldn't make
See,
that
that's what I'm
public
saying. They
knowledge.
could take it a couple ways. They could like not they could do like they're not gonna tell the public and they're just gonna have to try to hunt him down, or it's like
maybe he'll just out himself as Wonder Man. He'll be like, I'm actually a superhero, Wonder Man.
But would they even believe that?
Yeah, but when he
who?
shows
Unless
his
if he
powers
like
off,
started like doing his
yeah,
little.
he shows his powers. It's like in the it'd be like in the comments where he's like a super, or is that a secret identity? Is that a secret identity?
I don't think he is in the comics, no.
I think they are separate in the. I was just watching like YouTube shorts on. I'm not
I
really
don't
too
yeah, I'm
sure.
not entirely sure.
No, okay.
Yeah, I mean a lot of different ways they could take it. I don't know. It'd be
I don't
interesting.
think either of them had to be exposed because like Trevor Slattery was never connected to the Mandarin either. He like he went into the car as dressed as the Mandarin, so people technically don't really know who he is,
Yeah.
even though they've seen him on TV for 13 years.
Right.
The guys are all like, everybody's still shocked. They're like, "Is that the Mandarin? No way, it's the Mandarin." Like they don't believe their eyes. So like I say all that to say that like I've seen some theories and stuff that like this could become like if this which Wonder Man has been doing pretty well. Like if they continue to make shows like this, they could expand into like the West Coast Avengers, and then Wonder Man
Yeah, I've
would be
seen that.
like a part of that crew.
Yeah, that kind
Um,
of was gonna be my last little thing.
I'm gonna shut up now.
We, my fault, son. Um, yeah, that was kind of like my last little tidbit. Is do you guys want to like what would you guys want to see this in a like another season or him in another project? Would you guys want to see Wonder Man again in, on the big screen?
I definitely do want to see him again. Yeah, Yaya was like really good and really just I think he's perfect for the role. It was really well done casting by Marvel. So I definitely want to see him again in some capacity. Um,
I don't know if I
yeah,
want to see him like in like a action in like an action movie though. Like when
yeah,
I
yeah.
think that like his role is him being an actor and like him living
Hmm.
a normal like slice of
Yeah.
life. It's like a
He'd
slice
be
of
too
life
OP.
anime.
He would. It wouldn't be.
They got so many OP people in
It's
Marvel,
like
like it don't
Captain
even
Well,
Marvel.
matter.
Like like
okay,
Captain
yeah, yeah,
Marvel
yeah.
in
So,
Endgame. He just
okay,
like
all
showed
right.
up for two
Well,
seconds and was like boom, and
so
everybody died.
there's
Like
Yeah, that's true.
theories, right? Obviously, I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, but after like the next two Avengers movies, they're like doing like that like soft, or they're doing like a yeah, like a soft reset
Reboot.
of the Marvel
Yeah,
cinematic universe. So they're
I
gonna be
seen
like
something like that.
after that, they're gonna recast a bunch of people, and they're gonna start again with the mutant
yeah.
saga. So
Hmm.
they already have an X-Men movie on the docket. I think it's for like 2028, maybe. And so it goes back to like his or the origin of his powers. They obviously kind of leave it a little open-ended in the show, but I mean,
Think
it
he
was
might be a
the
mutant.
gist was kind of like they just appeared out of nowhere, which is very
Yeah.
like
During puberty.
Mutant.
Yeah.
Mutant.
yes, like yes, when he was a young kid. So like and that's very that aligns with like mutants and X-Men and like those characters. So there are also rumors that like, he could be a mutant. He could have like the X gene. He could be like, intertwined with them in the future. So yeah, I think that's like also like an option where we could see him being shown up. And I think his character is very like I think his character would fit in well with the X-Men because, I mean, like the X-Men are like known for being like this like oppressed group who have to like hide and they can't show them true selves because they're like, they're like shamed by the public and for being different and not being like them. And I think Simon would fit very well with a group
Mhm.
like that.
And he's
Um,
black, so he's a minority, just like the mutants.
Yeah, and that goes back to disability point too that I tried to make earlier, and I don't think I landed the plane very well. But yeah, I do think that's also the mutant route is a way they can go, and that also kind of goes to like my one complaint about the show, and the one reason why I don't think I want to see him on screen again, or really just like watch Marvel in general. It's just like the whole canon is just like so dominating. It's so consuming. Like it just feels like I have to do a Marvel study before I engage with others to talk about Marvel or like watch a Marvel movie. And it's like I don't want Marvel to become my religion. Like I don't like I don't want
It
this to
is
be a
definitely,
class.
it is definitely some people's religion.
I'm just like I can't let something dominate my mind
mhm.
that much.
Nah, I
Other things
feel
I
that.
can. I'm choosing to not let Marvel do that.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
free. You're free. Everybody's free to do what they want. That's just my where I've drawn the line. Is I just can't. I can't do it. It was
And
really good.
that's
I
like,
enjoyed it. I don't think I'll do
yeah.
it.
I feel like at the very least for this season, like you really didn't need any like other outside like Marvel knowledge for the most part,
Hmm.
like 95% of it, which was good and really I think why it's getting like such a good reception. So I hope like Marvel sees this and they see that this formula is working and hopefully they like stick with it because
It could be
uh,
like a well, Daredevil is kind of like that, where it's like its own thing, and that's why it's
mm,
pretty, successful. People
very, yeah,
watch it. You
very.
don't
I
have to.
mean, yeah, that's my personal favorite Marvel project because it's just like Wonder Man, very grounded, very contained. It's you don't have to know like 50 million different characters and all these like different storylines. It's very
Yeah,
self-contained. But I mean, yeah, I just hope the show gets the success that it deserves so that Marvel knows that method works because um like there was like the whole thing with like the Thunderbolts movie that came out last year. I mean, it was like again, like it was like really kind of different from anything Marvel had done for over the past like 4 or 5 years since Endgame, but it did so badly in the box offices. Like it lost like a couple $100,000. So
Yeah,
like Marvel saw the movie as a failure and they were like, "Oh, this didn't work. We're gonna have to do something different." So like hopefully like that's not what happens because I think this was more in the right direction and hopefully they like stick with it and
yeah. And I think just another thing that I saw. Apparently, what they were doing. because Marvel was raking in a bunch of money. They want to keep that money. For the previous shows, just been using like people who work on those films, like on the big time Avengers films, like on the big time Captain America, Thor, those previous movies before Endgame. They brought guys who like work on projects like that to just make a show. And that's why like the
Mm.
shows apparently felt like they would be cut abruptly. They would feel
They
like
felt like movie. They felt like
it felt
long.
like a
They felt like
movie cut
movies.
into 8 parts.
Oh
Yeah, this
yeah,
felt
yeah.
like a
No, that
show.
makes a lot of
But
sense.
then
Yeah.
for this show, they hired an actual TV crew to help direct
Well,
and
yeah,
shoot
yeah,
this
yeah.
one.
I did hear that. And they also got Destin Daniel Cretton, I think, was like one of the main showrunners who
That's the guy who did Shang-Chi.
did Shang-Chi, and he's doing Spider-Man this
Spider-Man, yeah.
summer. Um, so yeah, but definitely like been a fan of his work, and I think he did well, and that makes me much more excited
I
for
think they could have
at
made this
least.
into a movie though, if they really wanted to. Like it was. It wasn't like. It was
I
just
think
like
the
a.
short bits were good though. The short was good. I don't think like if I had to watch Simon for an hour and a half, just like struggling to be
Mhm.
a actor in the last
Yeah.
15 minutes, he shows like
And
he could
that's another
fly.
thing. Like I think it's being seen well because it was all dropped at once and people could watch it on their own time. Because like every other Marvel show has been like a weekly drop, and it's I don't think this show would have survived a weekly, like a once a
No.
week drop. Like I think it was being able to watch like 3 or 4 episodes at a time really like helped.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For real.
one thing I heard about that is like apparently shows that are dropped all in one week are signs
That
from the
yeah,
studio to the audience they don't
they don't have
believe.
faith.
They don't
Yeah.
have faith
Yeah.
because they can't create that discussion.
Yeah.
I I think that's debatable. I think for Wonder Man it did fit well because it felt like honestly it kind of felt I mean, I haven't read a comic in a long time, but it felt like I was reading a comic. Like it felt
Yeah.
like I finished one book and then I opened the next book and it's the next volume. It was like because everything was very self-contained. Like each episode was clear beginning and end, and the next thing is clear beginning and end. And I don't know if that could fit in. Like I'm sure they could figure out how to make it a movie.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I like this
I
format.
probably wouldn't be the same, but
I
it
agree.
was a
Yeah.
good
Like
format.
in Yeah, I just hope Marvel goes the self-contained route. You see so much success from those kind of things, like Daredevil Born Again was like very successful for Marvel, and you even see like other franchises like Invincible is like a very successful like comic book show, and it's just like its own thing. It's very like a contained story and that kind of thing. So hopefully they like keep kind of like doing stuff like that.
Well,
Um,
they're bringing in everybody for Doomsday. So,
yeah.
or you mean shows? I mean, they're bringing in everybody for
Yeah,
Doomsday.
yeah. I mean, I
I
think
hope. I think the next Spider-Man. I think I'm having hope for that. Like it's gonna be its own thing. Like
I mean,
Peter's
yeah,
gonna
for the next like, I think the MCU is like movie wise, they're
it's
really just
teetering.
put throwing all their eggs
Big
in
guys.
the next couple years and just really gonna try to like wrap that up and then just like start from scratch. But yeah, the next couple movies are just gonna be a fucking mess with like how many people are in them and stuff. But hopefully it turns out well.
I'm just waiting for the multiverse Spider-Man, my animated Miles Morales
Oh
Spider-Verse.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That
Spider-Verse. Yeah, I'm waiting
bro.
for
It's
that
been
one. I don't
like
care about this other
7.
stuff,
It's
but
been like
I
seven
watch Miles
years.
Morales.
I
It's been
don't
like 7 years,
know.
bro.
I
Like
hope it
yeah,
comes out
I'm gonna be
soon, man.
50. I'm gonna be 50 when that comes out.
Dude, it's yeah, they need to drop
All
that.
right, well, we're gonna just gonna wrap it up right there. Oh well, Parks. Since I know Paul doesn't do ratings, and he hasn't seen all of them. Where would you rate this show compared to like all the other shows? Where would you rank this show?
Ooh. Just Disney plus Marvel
Yeah,
because I've seen all
Disney
the
Plus.
other I've seen all like Netflix and stuff. If you know yours, go ahead. If you
Well, I haven't watched. I didn't watch.
from what you've watched, I think you've seen some of them.
I've seen like probably most of them, half of them. I need to watch Daredevil Reborn. I'll probably enjoy that the most.
Man,
But
I'm just gonna give it a 10. Come on, hurry up.
no, no, no.
No, no.
It's
Okay,
ranking
well,
in the top. I think this is top
it
three
might be
that I've
top
seen.
three. It might be top
Yeah,
three for
that I've
me.
seen. Yeah.
Daredevil is better than it for me. Daredevil is my personal number one, but I'm also including the Netflix show. Um, I think Loki is better than
Mm,
it. Loki season 2 was really good. Um, and like Mobius and Loki have like a very similar like kind of like relationship to Simon and Trevor. I think that might be it. I'm not a big WandaVision guy. Like I know like that show's very like highly renowned. I thought it was like fine. Um, Moon Knight wasn't as good as it should have been, in my opinion. I liked the Captain America show, but I think that was like you guys were saying, I think that should have been a movie. I think that should have been um Sam Wilson's first Captain America movie instead of what we got. It's just
mm.
like that show should have been turned into a movie. But
Yeah, I agree. I think
I'm gonna say
uh,
third best Disney Plus show.
I probably would have probably put it behind Loki and I did like Captain America and Winter Soldier just because like
It was great. It had a lot of great moments.
I like the action and I thought they had good action
Definitely.
scene.
And like I remember like
Uh,
people like yeah, like hated like the John Walker character, but he ended up being
yeah,
a pretty good character.
I would say probably two or three. I mean, either one, but I think this is pretty up there. I mean, I haven't watched Ironheart. I don't plan on watching that. I heard Hawkeye was good.
Hawkeye was
I
good.
might tune into that, but I thought this was a good refresher for me. You know, I kind of fell off with the Marvel shows, so this is good. I'm
If
ready
you,
to
yeah, I
watch
will
this.
say, like, if you liked Wonder Man, you like this, the grounded, contained stories, like Daredevil is like that, but like, yeah, like just as like it's like on that same level. So I think you've seen the Netflix show, right? Or
Yeah, I've seen
like,
the
yeah.
Netflix show. I
So
just haven't seen Born Again.
yeah,
Okay, well, that's
definitely.
gonna wrap it up. You know, we're back here, and it was longer than it wasn't as long as I thought because it was like only like a month that we.
Yeah, it hasn't even. I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks we put up the last one.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, good. Hey, we get in a rhythm, folks. That's why you need to subscribe and like and comment down below. We trying to get to. Let me scroll. We need to get to 20 subscribers. We need 20 subscribers. That's what we're trying to get to. 20 subscribers, please. And drop a like, comment. What do you want us to watch next? We watching
Yes.
everything. So, you know, this is turn it off right now and turn it off right the now. All right, signing off.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.